among you to share some of my thoughts on the topics which has been given to me. And I'm very thankful to Professor Ramchandrappa sir for making me a part of many of his activities. Especially, I've been going to different HRDC institute to deliver lecture. And as ours is a media profession, you know how interdisciplinary it is, whether it is science, whether it is commerce, whether it is Hindi, whether it's literature. Our subject is always related to one or the other. And when I speak of politics or political science department, then you can't think of a politics without media, or you can't think of a media without politics. So in this juncture, I thank Professor Ramchandrappa sir again for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts, and also thank my HRDC institution, University of Mysore, for this opportunity. So as I told, the topic what they have given to me is two topics. In the very first session, I'll be dealing with media and political communication. And secondly, I'll be dealing with trends in political communication. Kannadalli ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು, but in the sense I can speak very colloquially. We can have a colloquial discussion, not a problem. But as far as my PPT goes, or as far as my deliver of subject goes, it will be in English. Bilingual ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ try ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, as and when it is needed. I'll try to switch over to the bilingual one. So welcome all, and let me share my screen to you. Fine. So I have planned my session in such a way, because as we know that there are two sessions which has to be done. So in the very first session, what I am trying to speak to you people here is to give you a basic concept. People will be aware, as many of our teachers, friends are there. So you people are very, very well aware of certain things, but still there are certain areas which needs to be dealt with, which needs to be decided, which needs to be given more concentration. So in the very first presentation or very first class, I'll be speaking to you people more on the media and political communication. Why media political communication? What are the importance of a media political communication? How important it has become? And as political science teachers or as media professionals, what are the things which need to be done? So that will be the whole area. Sir ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ I speak a lot. I speak a lot in the sense I can go on for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour continuously. But sir told me to keep the session for 50 to 55 minutes so that we can have more of an interaction. I'll be very happy if we can have more interaction, because media and politics is such a subject that anything under the sun can be discussed. So I'll be very happy if our participants can have a discussion post session. We can have more discussion, questions can be taken, and as a team or as a session, I would request you people not to switch on to the microphone, because it will be disturbing others, and I'll be speaking in one flow. I may get disturbed, or maybe others may also get disturbed. So as far as possible, we'll see to it that nobody switch on the microphone. As and when the questions happen, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, fine. Now, why media? So before I commence, let me take you through one of the very important quote which starts, or which is a very basic thing, because when I say politics, people are very much enthusiastic. People get fascinated about the word politics. Okay, so there is no one in the world, there is nobody in the thing that they are not attracted or they're not related to one way or the other to the politics. So politics has become an integral part. Eldru life will could whether we like it or not, politics will get into it. So me coming from a communication department background, so communication for us is very important. Okay, samvahana hege ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, how do you interact with people is very much important, because as teachers it is a main thing. Okay, if you want to influence somebody, or if you want to put across your thoughts, if you want to put across your ideas to somebody, you need to communicate well, and that is the reason why. And politics is not an exception. So politics allu kuda ಒಂದು effective communication ಇರಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So everybody says that effective communication is built on the cement of trust. Okay, so if you want to have an influence, or if you want to think about the people, influencing people can happen only when you have a very good communication. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. Okay, so that is very much, not only hold on the subject, but at the same time, some people say they are very good readers, but they will not be able to communicate very well. Okay, so that means the thoughts are there in them. So how is it you're going to communicate to the people at the same time? So it is a kind of a trust what you have, and the trust is based on trustworthiness. Okay, namma trust ಗಳೇನಿದೆ ಅದು trustworthiness ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, and not politics, because Politics ke matle trust ke word gal seradella. There is nothing called as trustworthy. There is nothing called as reliability when it comes to politics. So we need to understand that only effective communication can bring in a kind of a change, and politics is an exception for that. So what is it that I'm trying to do here? So just to give you a plan of the session, what is it I'm trying to do in the whole session? It includes my second session also. I will be trying to define and try to speak something about politics, which I need not have to do it because you are all political science teachers, faculty members, but still just to define what politics is. We will also think about what political communication is all about. Okay, how it is different. So politics is different, but political communication is also something different. Let us see how, in a very simple manner, I'll try to put it across to you. Then we'll also speak about the key players. We'll also speak about how politics has been playing a very important, especially when it comes to the media. Okay, ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಹೌ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಡ್ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ವಿಭಾಗಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರತುಪಡಿಸೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Politics is there in everything. Okay, that is also we'll try to discuss on some of them. Then we'll also speak about the technology, how technology has changed. What are the changes the technology has brought in? The way the politics was there in the previous year, the way the politics was there around 50 years back, it's not the same kind of trend what we have today. Completely it has changed, and thanks to technology, that will also be discuss something. And we'll also speak about how political communication has gone global. It is not a local phenomena. Okay, it is not a local phenomena. Even a local politics can have a very great impact on the global people also. The same is with the thing. So there are many, I'll come to it when we speak about the particular trend. So we'll also discuss about how political communication has gone global. Third, we'll also speak about how political communication can be forced to be the good and the evil. Okay, to make a society, as we all know, in order to make a society, in order to break a society, you need not have to do anything. One is you spoil the education, the people will get spoiled by them. If not, you get into the politics, or you make the political people make policies, rules, regulations and all, the society will obviously, it will be deteriorated. Okay, so that is what the whole thing is all about. So we'll try to discuss all these things. Coming from a media background, coming from a communication background, we know that, as we all call, that politicians are you are the people who make the rules, you are the people who are at the legislature, you make policies and all. But at the same time, you also need somebody like the media. Madhyama kuda ashte important agutte. Bari ನಾವು legislation ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪಾತ್ರ ಇದೆ. That is, especially when the media, we call them as the fourth pillar. We are very strong. Okay, so whether you are doing that thing or not, that has to be questioned. So that's a different part of the story. But what I'm trying to tell you here is, you can't think of politics without media, because media, if you think media, why media has grown over so much, ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಇಷ್ಟು ತುಂಬಾ ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, because of the good things of politics and the bad things of politics also. Second thing is, when it comes to media, it is one of the favorite subject. It is one of the favorite area where everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to be a political correspondent. Everybody wants to speak about the political coverage. Everybody wants to give their opinion about the political things. Okay, gottidya gottilla gottilla. Even if you ask an high school student, he'll have his own opinion on certain Bommai government irbodu, Yediyurappa government irbodu, Siddaramaiah government irbodu. So everybody will have a thing. So that has become it's not only thing, it's there in the system. Namdu democratic country ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, so what has happened is, we are a part of the political process. The people are a part of the political process. So at the same time, today it has become one of your favorite area. Okay, ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ women politics ಬರಲ್ಲ, that was a different issue. Women don't participate in the political agenda. Now it is completely proven wrong. So women can't be leaders in politics. That has also, again, it has been disproved. So there are many things, but the media has always kept politics as one of the favorite area, which I'll also discuss sometime. Then politics has got various dimensions. It is not only, when I say politics, it is not only about Rajakiya matra antala. Rajakiya has got different phases. You've got different facets. Okay, it can be the policy decisions. It can be the rules and regulations. It can be the legislation what you people are trying to make. It can be the change what you want to bring in the society. Okay, so what has happened is, politics has got different dimensions. Politics can be good, politics can be bad, politics can be neutral. Okay, it can be anything, but you have different dimensions in which we are trying to study. I'm not getting deep into it because you people know it much more better. But I'm trying to link it with my media. I'm trying to link it with my media studies, and why communication today has become more important. Then the treatment keeps differing. Okay, it's not the same kind of a treatment. ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ. Okay, whenever there is a particular political party in the center or maybe in the state government, the kind of treatment what the media gives, okay, ಹೇಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫರ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಫೇವರಿಟಿಸಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಸಲ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಹೌಸಸ್. So let me put it on record that almost all the media houses in the country, whether small newspapers, big newspaper, television industry, advertising agency, cinema, whatever you call it as, each and every media or each and every media component have a context with the politics. They have one or the other kind of a nexus with the politics, and the treatment differs. Okay, it depends on the thing. And not only that, even people are very obsessed. ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ವಯಸ್ಸಾದವರಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಹೆಂಗಸರಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು, you take it anybody, majority of the people, 80% of the people in the country are very much obsessed with the media. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾನೂ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ we have been doing that. Then why, how this political communication in this background, keeping the media, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ as you all know, ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಷ್ಟು media houses ಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. The most of the media houses ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ more than 96,000 newspapers ಗಳಿದೆ. 96,000 newspapers ಗಳಿದೆ. ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ 1,200 ಚಾನೆಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ we have around 1,118, nearly 1,200 television channels are there in the country. Okay, then you have cinema. Every year we are the largest producers of cinema. Okay, we are the largest producers of cinema. So what has happened here is we have become very strong. Today, always remember, information is power. For anybody, whether we are a teacher, whether I am a speaker, whether I am a child, whether I am a lawyer, whether I am a doctor, what is more important for each and every one of us is the information. The kind of information which will make you strong. And where do you get the information from? You get the information from the media. And whatever the media gives you, okay, what you call as a media diet. Okay, now nimge media davaru ಏನು ತಲೆ ತುಂಬುತ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, what gives you, what people feed you, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ ತಾನೇ. ನಾವು ಅಮ್ಮ ಏನು ಊಟ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, that is how we grow. The same is with the media also. So media is trying to give you, or it is trying to feed you with lot of information. But whether the information is good, whether the information is wrong, whether it is usable, whether it is not usable, whether it is constructive, whether it is disruptive, you need to check it. But as an educated person, or as a teachers, or as faculty members, I know students, okay, leave out the students, but at least as educated person, we need to understand the good and the bad. So why this political communication in this juncture? When look into the Indian scenario, we are bubbling with the media. The kind of media freedom what we have is completely different. Nammal China dalli control irangilla, Russia dalli control ide. If you go to UAE, you can't even write a single sentence. Every article, every report has to be sent to the king. Okay, Dubai ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರು ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ it will go to the newspapers. The same is with the China, communist country, one of the biggest, one of the largest country, what we call one of the most powerful country. Everything is okay, fine, but they are from the communist background. Okay, they don't allow the media. Media is not free. Okay, so but whereas in a democratic country like us, whereas a democratic country like US, so media is free. In political communication, then we are very strong. We are not only speaking about media here. I'm also trying to bring your attention towards the politics, how strong politically we are. Okay, why is this much of an importance is given to our what you call the people, how politics especially. So when you think of today, what has happened here is, it is a very recent phenomena. Political communication, another, it has become one of the specialization. Okay, people have started doing a lot of activities. There are a lot of research work which is emerging, not only in the Western context, but even in the Indian context also. There are many good number of research work which is happening. So even as, because nowadays NEP, National Education Policy, there are a lot of interdisciplinary activities which we can do. Okay, we can have a coordination, we can have a collaborative activities which you can give from the politics, which we can give from the communication. So there are a lot of collaborative activities which people can look forward even in the future also. So then what is this political communication? If you define a political communication, it is nothing but a subfield of communication and politics, which is mainly concerned political communication, how information flows, especially the political information. Okay, so because everybody's activities, everybody's what you call everybody's thing depends upon the rules and regulations of the government. So we are in that framework. On the chocolate virodrinda ene kelsa maduvige petrol price high. Okay, so you have to abide by the government. You can't say I don't want to use. If you don't want to use, fine, go by walk, go by cycle, go by bus. Okay, so what happens here is how the information flows, flow of because media information barodu nimgalgeಲ್ಲ. So what happens, how the information flows, adondu important. But information flow matra alla, but how is that it going to influence the politics? Okay, political ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು politicalize ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು how it can influence the politics, because it is vice versa, and especially in a democratic country like us, they have to listen to the people, and people have to be a part of the policy decision. You have to be a part of the democratic process, right? That is what we teach. So are we doing that? If you're not doing it, that means the lapse is with us, not with anybody else. So political communication mainly depends with the influence of politics and also the policy makers. Here media is related and here citizens are related. At the end of the day, we need to look as an informed society. We need to look India as a democratic country. We can't be Afghanis, or we can't be people like communists. Okay, ours is a different kind of a law, ours is a different kind of a constitution. But these political communication, how media is feeding you, that has completely changed our thinking process. Second one, political communication is also about the exchange of ideas and opinion. Especially in a country like India, which is multifaceted, which is multicultural, which is multilingual. Okay, we have got 32 states with us. So people have got different ideas. And these political communication will help us in exchanging of those ideas. But what has happened today is it has become much more channelized. Okay, much more channelized. At the same time, it has become more controversial also. I will not say peaceful, but the thing is, there is a rigorous change in the exchange of ideas and opinion. That also has to be considered. Third, political communication also deals with the production, how the content is produced. ಯಾವ ತರ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ನೀವು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ವೆದರ್ ನೀವು ಬರೀ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟೆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರು ಕಾರ್ನರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ವೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿಚ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್, ಎಂತ ವಿಷಯನ ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಡೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಡೀಲ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್. ವಾಟ್ ವಿಷಯ, ಎಂತ ಮೆಸೇಜು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ತಲುಪಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಕೂಡ political communication ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. But the dissemination, it's not only about producing the content, but at the same time, in which channel you are disseminating. TV through ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ, paper through ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ, social media na use ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ನೀವು radio na use ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, because each and every medium has got its own advantages and disadvantages. ನೀವು ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ನ ಅನಕ್ಷತರು illiterate people ಓದಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So obviously you have to use the television. So television ತೋರ್ಸಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಣ್ಣಿದ್ದವರು ಕಿವಿದವರು ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So there are different ways. So you need to understand that politics is completion of all. It involves, or it engulfs everything. So production irbodu, dissemination irbodu, but the procession, how do you process the news? ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, ಬಣ್ಣ ಬಳ್ದಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, ಬಟರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, ಬಣ್ಣ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ. Okay, there are different ways that news is processed. A very good information can be maligned, a very good information can be tarnished, a very good information can be colored. You can namal gottu namge, I'll come up with a lot of examples, I'll speak to you with a lot of case studies and all, but the thing is, how do you process it? ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಪಾರ್ಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಅರ್ಧಂಬರ್ಧ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್. ಅಂಡ್ the effect of these political communication is very bad, especially in a democratic country like ours. We are the targeting people. We are targeting certain groups of people who are suffering because of this. We are not suffered, but there are larger section of the society who are suffering, and political communication is about this. At the end of the day, you need satta, you need power, you need gadda. Ade bekirodu inenu bada namge, we need power. So that is what the whole political communication is all about. Then it also speaks about the connection concerning the politics and the citizens, how it is connected, whether people are happy with it, whether the people are not happy with it. Are you taking any measures where you can satisfy the people? Everybody, see, in a democratic country, everybody will not have the same kind of an opinion. There are difference of opinion. That is what the beauty of democracy is all about. But are you trying to do something which can connect these citizens and the politics? That also has to be questioned, and that is what the process of political communication studies. And also, last but not the least, it also helps in interacting. A good democratic place in a good democracy is one where you give platform for the people to discuss. Okay, ours is not a dictatorship. Ours is not an Afghan where the Taliban will come and occupy us and they'll say, they'll keep the things on our head and they ask us to do. No. Okay, you know how the things are how things bad situation is there in Afghan. Okay, but whereas in a democratic country, we have the scope for interaction. We debate, we question. Okay, so now things are different. That is different. But the thing is, you have an option where you can fight, you can interact, you can that is different. But at least you have a say. You have a say, and at least you can stand for yourself. And also, it also speaks about the connection. Okay, how the things are being connected. So if you go back just for your IQ test and all, just if it is there, I just wanted to put you why this political communication. As I told, it's a very new phenomena which has happened. A good number of studies have happened. It's not, it's a Western concept what was being developed. So Robert Denton and Gary Woodward of America, they are the one who channelize this. Okay, it means they were also politicians and political scholars. But these are the people, these two, Woodward and Denton, were the two people who channelized and who said that yes, something could be done. Okay, people should not only think of politics, but there is something beyond politics. Okay, politics is completely affected by the communication. Communication plays a very important role at the Heldore Euro. So these are the people who gave a start for the political communication work across the globe, and they are called as the fathers also. Then, what did they say? In political communication, political speeches, because through speech, I'm influencing somebody. Okay, and then speech, there are many people get influenced by Rahul Gandhi, people get influenced by Narendra Modi ji, people get influenced by Siddaramaiah, each and everybody. See, let me make things very clear. I'm not speaking of any political things. It is just to give you an example in the case study so that you people can get connected easily. I'm giving those examples. Yadon example here, it is partisan. So that's the thing. So it speaks about the political speeches, because speeches can influence. Speeches can break the government. Speeches can make the government. Okay, one political good speech ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ದೇಶನೇ ಕಿತ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ದೇಶನೇ ಬೆಳೆದು ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ತರ ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. Then it also speaks about the news media coverage. How does a media coverage? What is the perception of the media? ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನದಿಂದ ನೋಡುತ್ತೆ, ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಅದು ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ತುಂಬುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. We have something called as a bullet theory. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು, I don't know, it is a media theory where we call it as a bullet theory ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಹೊಡೆದ ತಕ್ಷಣನೇ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಅಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಡೈ. ಫೈನ್, ಬಟ್ ನೆಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಶೂಟ್ ಆನ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಮೀಡಿಯಾದವ್ರು ಏನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸದಾ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಲಾಂಗರ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ಅದೊಂದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಟಾಕ್. ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ವುಡ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸೆಡ್ ದಟ್ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಬರೀ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು, ರೂಲ್ಸ್, ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಈವನ್ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್. ಹಳ್ಳಿಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಬ್ಬ ಜನ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ, ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಅವ್ರ ವರ್ಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಮಚ್ ಮೋರ್. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಮೋರ್ ದನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಟೆಡ್, ಐ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ ದಟ್ ಅನ್ಎಜುಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಮಚ್ ಮೋರ್ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟೆಡ್, ದೇ ಮಚ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್. ಓದಕ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಬಟ್ ವಿಷಯ ಪೂರ್ತೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದಿ, ಟಿವಿ ನೋಡಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಮಚ್ ಮೋರ್ ಬೆಟರ್. ದೆನ್ well, it also speaks about political identity. Okay, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು political communication study ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು political identity ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ, their genesis, their history, we need to study that, and the kind of image a political party has, because people are recognized by the political parties. It is not the person who makes a party, it is the party which makes a person. Okay, if you have BJP in the Congress in the JDS, why people are shifting? Because the party has an image. It is not the person who has an image, it's a party. So in the political communication, we also speak about the images of the political party. Then the agenda. What is that agenda, people? What is the agenda? What these political parties have? Whether it is pro-people, whether it is anti-people, whether it is anti-establishment, whether it is anti-religious. So we need to check up with all those kind of things. Then visual representation. One of the very good study what I was also going, because we have done 2-3 research work on political communication with myself and my students, where we also seen that visual representation, symbols ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನನ್ಕಿಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಸಿಂಬಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳು, ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂತೆ, ಛತ್ರಿ ಅಂತೆ, ನಮ್ದು ಲೋಟಸ್ ಅಂತೆ, ಹಸ್ತ ಅಂತೆ, there are different things, but visual representation in politics that communicate different things. ನೀವು ಯಾರು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಕಾಮನ್ ಫಿನಾಮಿನಾ. ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಜನಗಳು ಹೆಸರು ನೋಡಿ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಓದಿರಲ್ಲ ಪಾಪ. ಅವ್ರು ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್, ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದೆ, ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕಾಗ್ದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗ್ದೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ idu nodi chitra nodkondu madirtare. So visual representation is a very important thing which you need to, that is also communication. Kelu martu bidtinu avadana, but it has got a very strong effect. The color what you use, the tagline what you use, the kind of image what you use, katti ante, gurani ante, gundkal ante nodidivi, fan ante, chair ante. So what is that? It is nothing but the visual representation. It will have a kind of visual representation. But the manipulation, because politics and manipulation irlebekagutte. So studying the manipulation of the government is also one of the important thing what we do in the political communication. Then the relationship between the government, the people, the bureaucracy, each and everything is also studied. Last but not the least, it also helps in creating a kind of strategy. Only when you have all these things put together as a researcher, when I look into this particular part as a researcher, what I find is it creates a lot of strategy. Political communication is a very interesting subject. If you want to work on with any of the media people, please try it out. You'll get to know a lot of things other than the politics. Okay, so the key players, as we all know, they are the politicians, and we have got political parties, we have got pressure group, we got influencers, and the general public. We always leave out the general public. Okay, that is a wrong thing. You need to understand and you need to think about these people, especially this general public also. Politicians are very important. Lot of studies have happened, which I'll be telling you people in the second session, where we have studied the politicians, their habits, their social media habits. We have studied. I'll be giving you some of the statistics of how people are getting things. Then political parties, okay, chota party, national party, regional party, third front, second two front, third front. So political parties also can be a very good study. We can see how each and every political party communicate. Why everybody are going Gaga or BJP? What is the kind of strategy they are applying? Why? What went wrong with the AIDMK in Chennai? Why the regional party are strong than the national party? So you can study a lot on political parties. Okay, their presentation, their leaders, each and everything will have a concept. And we as communication department, we look into that. ನೀವು ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ರಾ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು, ನೀವು ರಾ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿಗಳು. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಅದು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. The person who was very wrong will become, especially in America, okay, especially in America, like person like Mr. Obama, who was ex-former president of America, he is nothing. He is such a learned man. And give an example, such a learned man coming from a good universities. So these kind of people make political parties. So how do they communicate? ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಬರೀತಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್. So when I say politics, there are a lot of pressure group, vested interest gal irutte, so they put pressure on the things. Okay, like it can be our small groups gal irutte, so there is a lot of pressure which can be studied. Okay, then influencers, political influencers gal matra alla, today politicians have also become much more stronger. Modlala hege film actors galgeಲ್ಲ makeup artists galu ಮತ್ತೆ hair stylists ಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. So in the same way today, you must be knowing that each and every politician in India, whether it is our PM Narendra Modi ji or Rahul Gandhi or anybody, everybody have got somebody called as a right hand who will groom them as to what you are supposed to speak. ಏನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ಹೇಗ್ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಏನಂತ ಯಾವ ತರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ತರ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೌ ಯು ಎಟಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ. Okay, Prashant Bhushan, whom you know as a person, who is also one of the person who used to be the person who was grooming the prime minister earlier. Speeches barkodadalli irbodu. Okay, because the way I told you, you get influenced by the speeches. People get carried away by the words what you use. Okay, so these are there are certain category of people who called as influencers, but the general public. Now, koneyalli yavalu janagala koneyalli togoltivi yavaglune, but they are the most, because they are the people who can vote people to power, or they can bring them down from the power. So that is what the kind of power what we have. But are we using it in the right direction? ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದೀವಾ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದವರು ಅದನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಬಿಗ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ಓಕೆ, so when you look into political communication, there are three important things what we need to understand. Okay, one is the audience, that is the people. Second is the political actors. See, allu kuda actors anta use ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, because they know that everybody keeps pretending. I'm sorry, because I'm very straightforward. I have my own reservations and my own observations related to politicians, not the political parties also, but I have my own reservations on that. So then the media. Okay, so these three are interrelated. ನೀವು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮೂರ್ ಜನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಇರಬೇಕು, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾನು ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಡೂ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಒನ್ ಅನದರ್. ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಏನೋ ಇದಾದ್ರೆ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಟ್ವೈನ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ going the thing. Fine. So, yake communication change aito. Where is it we are what is it has made us as a subject? What is there to study then? Yake on the subject nantara study madbekanta ankondo helidaga the communication pattern has changed drastically. There has been a very huge change in the kind of the communication pattern, especially historically. When you look back to the historical big thing like a Dandi March and Tatakodi, you can go to the other kind of issues and all. So there you used to have public speeches. Okay, the leader, whomever we used to have, Nehru irbodu, Gandhi irbodu, the Moraji Desai irbodu, the Ambedkar irbodu, yarara irbodu, we used to have a public figure whom we called ourselves as, we used to recognize him or herself as a leader. They used to speak to the people. So there used to be a one-to-one connection, or maybe in a large group communication. Okay, that is how the things used to happen. Public speeches, the gathering, when the people used to gather together, even the online, problem. We gather here. Okay, everybody is there online. Some people must be sleeping, some people must be switching off. Okay, but the thing is, you people used to gather. Okay, when you gather, there is a lot of exchange of ideas. There is an exchange of opinion. What Mr. Dr. Krishna may not like it, Mr. Chandrapa may like it, or Ms. Lokesh may like it, or maybe Ma'am Angadi may not like it. Okay, but there used to be a kind of a gathering. You people used to discuss, you people used to bring it out. So that was the kind of communication what used to have, which has made our democracy very strong. Cut to the present day. Okay, so if you look into at that particular point of time also, as a freedom movement, if I take it as an example, newspapers used to play a very important role. The article written by Gandhiji in Harijan, or maybe the patriotal Barita. So it can be Jawaharlal Nehru used to write, or maybe Lal Shastri ji used to write. Okay, or it can be Tilak ji who used to write. Okay, each and everybody's writing was given so much of an importance. Janagalu adana odi papa keli maadi as the influence ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Okay, that was their thought, and the thought was very clear. There was no manipulation. Please understand. I'll come to that word manipulation later on. That the thought of Gandhiji irbodu, the thought of a freedom fighters irbodu, yarara agirbodu, it was very crystal clear. Okay, so newspaper used to play a very important role at that particular point of time. Then after some time came the radio. Okay, radio was there, but they started using this medium of radio to influence the people, because the paper, literate people matra odakagtaittu. So they started using the audio medium. Okay, where the airways can carry the messages. Okay, where through that you can reach a larger audience and you can follow ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದು ಸೇರಕ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. We started using more of the radio. Radio has also been a very influential medium even to this day. Many of them thought that after the coming of internet, coming up of things and all, the radios died, but actually it is not there. We are trying to revive the radio, and that is how this community radio station at our university has come in. Okay, so radio was followed, and even the content on radio, nimmal sumaru jana radio kelbodu ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಈಗಲೂ influence ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಗುರು ಬೋಧನೆಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯೋಗಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಅವೇ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ದ ಆಡಿಯೋ, ನಾಟ್ ಬೈ ದ ವಿಡಿಯೋ. ನೀವು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನೋಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ you enjoy that, you learn from that, you experience certain things from that. Then as I told, TV was the last which came into the India, but TV has played a very huge role when it comes to political communication in India. Okay, especially I'm just giving an example with the assassination of Indira Gandhi. Look, I'm just giving an example. Assassination of Indira Gandhi. The first death, or the first, I should say, funeral procession of the funeral corpse body na ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, the first whole live telecast ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. And the thing is, ಆವಾಗ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಇವಾಗ ವೆರಿ ಕಾಮನ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಪಿತಪ್ಪಿ ಯಾರೊಬ್ರು ನಾಳೆ ಹೋದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, from morning till evening the same thing will be played. And that is the kind of influence what you have. You are trying to hold on to the interest of the people. But there are a lot of 100 things to do, but they are holding on to your interest. Especially during the death of Rajkumar, during the death of Ambarish irbodu, or during the death of any of the politicians galirbodu. So there are certain things which you used to take. These are all nothing but communication, but it is happening very slowly, which people are not getting a hold on. Okay, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ದೊಡ್ಡವ್ರ ತನಕ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, it is going to influence, but influence ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Why this change? Okay, why ಯಾಕೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು, there has been a lot of technological changes, especially with the social media coming in, especially with the kind of internet penetration in the country. You must be shocked to know that earlier it used to be 40%, but today it is around 68% of the Indian population has internet penetration. Okay, 68% of the geographical area ಮತ್ತೆ population ಗೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ಅದೊಂದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಟಿವಿ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾರಿ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಊಟ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಮನೆ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇರಕ್ಕೆ ಮನೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಫೋನ್ ಅಂತ, ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಫೋನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಫೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೊಬೈಲ್ penetration is also too high. So is with the technology, with Geo coming, free Geo ankondo, so we have become more of the technological, everybody has become more technological. Okay, so that is one that's one of the reason why communication has changed. ನಂಗೆ ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಂಗೆ ಹಿಮಾಚಲಿಂದ ಯಾರೊಬ್ರು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ there is a lot of place. Okay, being in the same place you are trying to exchange more ideas. Second is the content. ಏನು ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಬರೀತೀರಾ, ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ವಿಷಯ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣನೇ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸಿ ದ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್. ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ನಾವು ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ವಿ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಏನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಬೈತಿ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯ, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆನಿ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್, hidden agendas which is there in the political communication, which we as researchers or which we as teachers need to look into it. The kind of content, ಯಾವ ತರ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಲವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಈಗ ಈ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರದೇ ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲ್ ಪೇಜ್ ಬರೀ ಇವ್ರದೇ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್. Whatever the other political parties, they are not doing anything, so they are not in the news. It is very easy, but the thing is you need to study these underlying things. Okay, that as a educated person or as teachers, as researchers, we need to look into this. More accessibility. Everybody have got accessibility. ಒಂದಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಂ, ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದೋರು ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದ್ತಾರೆ, ಟಿವಿ ನೋಡೋರು ಟಿವಿ, ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಇದೆ, ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಗಝೀನ್ ಇದೆ, ಔಟ್ಡೋರ್ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಸ್ಸಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಂದ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, the thing is accessibility has become triple fold. ಓಕೆ, ಮೊದಲ ಪಾಪ ಲಸಿಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋರು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ದಡಾರ ಅಂತ ಟಿಬಿ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಚ್ ಎ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಏಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಬಟ್ ನೌ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಮಚ್ ಮೋರ್ ಈಸಿಯರ್. accessibility, people know the importance. ಈ ಕರೋನಾ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಏನ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮೈನಸ್, ವಾಷಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್, ಹಾಟ್ ವಾಟರ್, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ accessibility to the information through various medium has become much more thing. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, every media has got two kind of activity. One, discursive activity in the political communication. There is something called as a discursive activity. That means where the media is controlled by the politics. They censor the things, interrogations galna ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ withhold, very important ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ withhold ಮಾಡೋದು, ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಇರೋದು. Okay, now everybody, there are a lot of things. Like it can be Beaufort case, it can be our scams galirbodu, or it can be anything. Okay, so there are many discursive activity which people are not aware. But in a democratic country like India, is this censorship allowed? Censorship na madboda now, because we are a fourth pillar and we are free. Press is free. Article 19(1) ivella helkottidira. Freedom of speech and expression we have. So is there anything called censorship? Yes, it is censored, but without the knowledge of the people, without the knowledge of the media, without the knowledge of the general public, there are a lot of things which are getting censored. Okay, that is what a researcher needs to identify. The interrogations, like journalists are being killed, journalists are being silenced, journalists have been fired from the job. Okay, very recently you must be knowing that Mr. Adani is going to take over a very big news organization in the country by paying around 1,800 crores. Okay, which was, if I'm not wrong, it is NDTV. Okay, NDTV was only news channel which was against the power, against the political party which is in power. So they wanted to take over that. Okay, and generally, everybody says that every media organization is a part of the central government activity. They ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so there are many interrogations ಗಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ, withhold ಗಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ discursive activity ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು political communication study ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. At the same time, persuasive activity ಅಂತಾನೂ ಇದೆ, wherein whether the media are trying to do it, I don't say, only 10% of the media may be doing it, or maybe the regional press may be doing it, or maybe the radio may be doing it. Persuasive activity, one of the most important thing is ಬರೀ ವಿಷಯನ ತಲುಪಿಸೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ತರಬಹುದಾ, ಬಟ್ ಆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ತರ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಇನ್ ಮೆಸೇಜಿಂಗ್, ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋ ತರ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್, ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ದೆಮ್. ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್, who is accountable, who ಯಾವ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಕೌಂಟಬಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದ ಕೇಸಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಸೆಕ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ಒಂದು ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟೇ ತರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ವೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್? Nobody is accountable. For that, even media is also responsible. Okay, but even politics is also responsible. So you need to check these whether we are accountable or not. But administrative message tampering ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಾ, ಹೇಳದೆ ಒಂದು ಕಳಿಸದೆ ಒಂದು ಆತರ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಸತಿ ಆರ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ಸ್, ಹಂಗೆ ಆರ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ವಾಪಸ್ ಹೊಟ್ಟೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲಾನು. ಸೊ ವೆದರ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆನ್ಸಿ, ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಚೆಕ್. In political communication we have okay, in political communication there are a lot of things which we study. One of the major things is what we study is about election campaigns. Neevala study madirbodu adana election campaign process. Now as a media organization what we study is the campaigning process. ಯಾವ ತರ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನೀವು ವೋಟ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ. ಈಗ ಯಾರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ? ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರು ಬರಲ್ಲ. Okay, WhatsApp al message barutte, please vote for this, please vote for that, or maybe people will come live on FB and they ask the votes. People will send a recorded message to your WhatsApp. Be sitting at home, you can do it. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿವಸ ಆದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಿಂದನೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು. Okay, so these are the election campaign process, communication process we are studying. Okay, that can also be the one of the very important area. ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಅದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪೇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಗಳು ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ we need to contextualize that. We need to contextualize it and also see the thing. But the government operations, that is the legislative policies. So that's also one of the area which we can think about. But the content, what is the content they give? Political political speech li ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಾರಿ ಅವರು ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಾರಿ ಒಂದು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ ಅವರು ಬೈದ್ರು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಾರಿ ಆ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ ನ ಅವರು ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗಿ ಬೈದ್ರು, ಅಥವಾ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಾರಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರುಗಳನ್ನ ತಕೊಂಡ್ರು, ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಹೆಸರುಗಳು, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಗಾಟ್ ಟು ನೋ ದಟ್ ರೈವಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು 212 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ? 40 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ 212 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ that particular name has come of the other political parties. Okay, so these are the media content which you need to understand. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್, ಹೇಗೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು ಜನಗಳ ಜೊತೆ? ಪ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹಂಚೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪೋಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಟ್ಔಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋದು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಎ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ದಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೈ ಮುಕ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಯಾರು ಹಿಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, they'll be waving the hand, if not they'll be standing like this. So there is a reason behind that. Okay, because this is show this humbleness. Okay, this kind of positions idre humbleness. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜನಸೇವಕ ಜನನಾಯಕ ಏನು ಅಂತೀರಾ ಅದು this is the thing. Okay, if it's like this, it is a victory. Okay, so there are certain hidden things, there are certain communication aspects which we study in the particular process. So even there are 5 critical approaches ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ಮೆಕಿಬಿಲಿಯನ್ process ಅಂತ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ we speak about the power relationships. For example, just to give a small example about what is this Machiavellian approach ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, like the Afghan crisis. What has happened in the Afghan crisis? So we know America was there for 20 years. So now they are not able to do it. So they have left the country and the country president has ran away. Okay, so this speaks about the relationship between what America had with Afghanistan. Okay, so these are the critical kind of approaches what we do. That is also andre whether it was friendly, whether it was a bilateral relationship. So put it in a very simple thing, we call it as a bilateral relationship. Adu namma signing authority bartade, but idu it speaks about the power relationship. Then as I told, iconic symbols, each and every country's symbol, color can also be one of the very critical thing. Iga red anta nodiದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ? ಓ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಸ್ಟ್ ನವರು. ಈಗ ಆರೆಂಜ್ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನೊಂದು ಆರೆಂಜ್ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇವರು ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ನವರ ಅಂತ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. The things are not like that, but these iconic or these symbols can also convey something. Okay, ನಂಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಅದೇ ತರ ನನ್ನ ತರ ಏನೋ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಲರ್ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಓ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ನೀವು ಆ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅವರ, ಒಂದು ಆರೆಂಜ್ ಕಲರ್ ಕುರ್ತಾ ಹಾಕಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಓ ನೀವಾ ನೀವು ಅದೇನೋ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಕುರ್ತಾ ಹಂಗ ನೀವು ಈ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿನ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವೇ, especially after in our country, especially after 2010, 2014 election or 2019 election, things have completely changed. People have started not thinking about the intellectual thing, they think about the appearances. And these symbols are also one of the very important thing. But the ritualistic manipulation of symbols, the superficial nature of political acts. Just to give an example, Corona time ali, there was a very big content which was going around. I mean, the example ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ರಿಚುವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ವೆದರ್ ಈಗ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕರೋನಾ ಬರೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಸಗಣಿಲಿ ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕರೋನಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಡನ್ ಬೈ ಒನ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ. And everybody has that thing that okay, ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. So what has happened is, politics ಎಷ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೈ ಗುಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದೇ ಡೂ ಇಸ್ ರೈಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು. Okay, so these vaccination ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರು, ನೀವು ಕೌ ಡಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ಸಗಣಿಲಿ ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ನಾವು ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ್ವಿ, go corona, go corona, everybody said that, right? Even being educated, we did. There is nothing wrong. Okay, it is our self thing, but the thing is, these are the ritualistic kind of approaches even politics has, that has influenced us. Amitabh Bachchan was standing and doing this, Rishi Kapoor was standing and doing this, tap 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 ಅಂತ ಗಂಟೆ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. But the thing is, see how much of influence it has. ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ರಿಚುವಲ್, ಅದರ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಯಾರು ಬಾಪ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ಬರೋಣ ನಾವ್ ಯಾರು ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, but ಯಾರೊಬ್ರು ಬೇರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that much of leaders, political leaders influence you have. So this is what the political communication speaks about. It also speaks about the confirmation, whether people love you, whether people hate you. If the people are hating you, what are the reasons for their hatred? If the people are loving you so much as a political leader or as a political party, what are the reasons? So there is, what your act will tell you about the confirmation. ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ವಂತದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಡ್ರಾಮೆಟಿಕ್, ಓಕೆ, ಸಿಂಬಾಲಿಕಲಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇವಾಗಿನ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಡ್ರಾಮೆಟೈಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಒಂಥರ ಡ್ರಾಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರ್ಸಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅಂತ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಫೀಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸಿಂಬಾಲಿಕಲಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಅಪ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, 2-3 things. I'll stop in another 5 minutes and we'll have a discussion. These are the case studies what I have taken. Okay, personally ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋದು ಇದು Pegasus full probe ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು, very recent issue ಅಂತ. ಮತ್ತೆ PM ಇದು, okay, corona time ಅಲ್ಲಿ there was a lot of funds which was been collected by the governments for the, you can give donations ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. So there was a lot of controversy which happened. Okay, so it says PM with government cares not so. Okay, when you already have a PM fund, why should you correct and controversial agittu anta helbittu? So all these kinds of a thing, okay, these convey a lot of bad message. So those people who are supporting one political party can be correct ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ who are against the thing, they'll say, oh nodra, they're laundering the money, they're not using for the people, about the government money and adu sari. So what happens is, it gives a chance for clashes. It gives a chance, that is the democracy ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು, but how far? Not at the cost of the people, not at the cost of the people's life. That is more important than our question. So Pegasus influence is also there. Then very recently, yesterday, it was why I took up this particular case is because it was a very recent one. 23 ತಾರೀಕು ನೆನ್ನೆ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥದ್ದು Assam. So the journalists were covering the issue. Okay, they were covering something, and they were also been beaten up. Okay, journalists galna tuldu maadu, photographers, cameramen galna tuldi maadi. ಇದು minorities. Okay, there was a group of people, especially Assam ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾರಂಗ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನೆ ಒಂದು ಎವಾಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಜನಗಳನ್ನ ಏನೇನಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರಗಳನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಆವಾಗ ಆದಂತ ದಂಗೆ ಇದೆ. Okay, so what happens here is, the video captured by the clash ಆಗಂತದ್ದು, ಒಡಿಯಂತದ್ದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಹೇಗ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಫೋಟೋಗ್ರಾಫರ್ ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀರ ಹೊರತು, you have highlighted that particular point, but you have missed out where you told about thrashing of the people. ತುಂಬಾ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊಡೆದಾಕಿದ್ರು, ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಪಿಕ್ಚರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಜನಗಳನ್ನ ತಳ್ಳಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೆಂಗಸರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿಲ್ಲ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದವರು. ಬಟ್ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಶೋಸ್ ಫೋಟೋಗ್ರಾಫರ್ ಹಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದ್ರ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್, the way you show the world, the way you show the people about these kind of things, that is the way you create a kind of a picture. Okay, you create a kind of a picture in the minds of the people. It is one of the cartoon what I have taken, where it speaks about the fuel price. Okay, it's one of the cartoons are one of the very important thing. Political cartoons ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು. There are a lot of work which has happened on only cartooning. Okay, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ we have ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ we have done a lot of cartoon work. ಹೇಗೆ ಪಿಕ್ಚರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಬರೀತಾರೆ, ಕ್ಯಾರಿಕೇಚರ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಟುಕ್. ಸೊ ನೋಡಿ, ಮೀಡಿಯಾದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದೇ ಬೇಡ. ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಏನೋ ಫೇಕ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಗಳು ಕೊಡಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ ತುಂಬ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಐ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ಐ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ಮೋರ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್ fake news, fake content, and about the social media usage of our politicians and all. But this particular whole session was only to make you understand that why political communication has become an integral part, why political communication is one of the most important. It is there, whether you like it or not, it has to be there. But as educated people, or as a democratic process irodrinda, what all we should do and what are the strategies we need to apply. Ultimately, people will buy what media say. ಮೀಡಿಯಾದವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಾವ್ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಹೊರತು ನಾವ್ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ತರ ಪ್ರೋಬ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರೋಬ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರು ಇಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಒನ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. Okay, so this is what I had to say. Anyways, at 3 o'clock I'll stop it here. Any questions, any discussions, we'll have a take. Okay, I'll be very happy to have discussions or any observations, any criticisms, anything is more welcome. Yeah. Yeah. If people can unmute yourself and answer, or any objections idru ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, what you call discussions idru ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, criticisms idru ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, you can always do that. But we'll have some discussions. Incomplete ಅನ್ಸ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ನಂತದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ 3/4 ಗಂಟೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಆದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. Because it will be very incomplete, because the whole purpose is to have interaction. You are also teachers, I am also a teacher. So it's not that only thing is I'm sitting on the other side of the table and I'm speaking about to you my specialization and my subject. In politics nanga helidake ನನ್ನ capacity ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So the thing is, anything if you want to add on, extra informations ಕೊಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ it is always welcome. It is just an idea of exchange of ideas. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾತಾಡಬಹುದು, ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್, ಹಿಂದಿ, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್. ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು?
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬಂತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅದೊಂದು I have that problem with me. I have that problem. ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್ ನನಗೆ 3/4 ಗಂಟೆ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿ 1/4 ಗಂಟೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. So that was, I wanted to finish all the slides, no, so I was a bit I wanted to complete the slides. ತಪ್ಪಾಗೋದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಮಾಡಿ. I'll see to it that I'll slow down. Yes.
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬಂತು ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಸರಿ, thank you ma'am, thank you.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ನೈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಟ್ರೂ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿಯನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸೋದ್ರ ಬದಲಾಗಿ TRP-ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳು ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಬೆಂಬಲವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದಾವೆ, ಕೆಲವು TRP-ಯನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಿದಾವೆ. ಇದು ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗೆ ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ ಮೀಡಿಯಾನ, ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಬೀರುತ್ತೆ ಮೇಡಮ್?
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ದಿವಾಕರ್ ಸರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್. ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಮೊದ್ಲು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜ ಸೇವೆ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. We used to do it as a social service. Okay, we used to think that it is a social responsibility. ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಜಮುಖಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು, that was the kind of concept what they had. If you take up 1940s 50s ಎಲ್ಲ ತಕೊಂಡ್ರಾಗ something to the society, something for the betterment of the society ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. Over the period of time, what has happened is, as you told very rightly, it is nothing called as social service. It is completely 100% 200%. Now it is a business. So when you have that business, or when you have that financial kind of a concept in your mind, so obviously people, their problem, development, women, empowerment, everything will take a backseat. Yaadukku idilla. But innondu enagogide anta helidre, nammalli we have something called as media management. ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಏನು, ಒಬ್ಬ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಓದಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅವನು ಸಮಾಜಮುಖಿನ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋರೇ ಸಂಪಾದಕರಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈಗ ಅದಾನಿ ಸಂಪಾದಕರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಅವರು, ಅಂಬಾನಿ, they don't know the ABC of anything. Okay, but for them it is just a mouthpiece. For them it is just a investment. For them it is just a, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ TRP advertisement ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು, ನಂಗೆ ನಾಳೆ 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So in this kind of a concept, the very purpose of social responsibility, the very purpose of doing something to the society is completely gone. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಒಂದು ಬೆರಳೆಣಿಕೆಯಷ್ಟು ಪೇಪರ್ಗಳು, ಒಂದು ಬೆರಳೆಣಿಕೆಯಷ್ಟು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಡಸ್ಟ್ಬಿನ್ ತರ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. Okay, so whatever somebody feels, or you go and vomit it and somebody will be there to appreciate it, atara. But the thing is, as you told, majority of the management, media management are working only for money. So ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ TRP ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಂತೇಳಿ, ಮೊದಲು ಬರೀ 26% ಮಾತ್ರ FDI ಇತ್ತು, ಫಾರಿನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್, 100% FDI ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫ್ಯಾಷನ್, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಸಾರಿ, ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಸಂಬಡಿ ವಿತ್ ಮಿನಿ ಸ್ಕರ್ಟ್, ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಸಂಬಡಿ ವಿತ್ ಸ್ವಿಮ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಸೂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಫಿಲಮ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ, ಫಿಲಮ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಗಳಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ದು ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ನಮ್ಮತನ ಅಂತ ನಾವ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಭಾಷೆ ನೋಡಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು, ಪಿಕ್ಚರೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು. ಎಂತೆಂತ ಭಾಷೆ, ಮೊದಲು ಟಿವಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡವ್ರೆಲ್ಲ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಅಂತೆ, ದೂರದರ್ಶನ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋರು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ನೀಟಾಗಿ ನಿಧಾನವಾಗಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಓದೋರು ಎಲ್ಲಾನು. ಈಗ ಬರೀ ಕಿರ್ಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದಂತೆ ಇದಂತೆ ರಾಧಾ ಹಿರೇಗೌಡರು ಭಾಷೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮುಗ್ದೋಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಗಾನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ವಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಜನಗಳವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೆಂಬಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಪೀಪಲ್ ಡೂ ವಾಚ್ ದ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್.
ಮೇಡಮ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಸಫರ್ ಪಟ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ನೋಡೋದ್ರಿಂದಾನೇ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಇಂದ ಸಫರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ಅಂಕಿಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಇರುವಂತ ವಾಸ್ತವಾಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳೋದ್ರ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ತರ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಜನ ಭಯಪಟ್ರು ಮೇಡಮ್. ಅಂತ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಟುಡೇ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಸ್ have become more sensationalization, ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಿರ್ಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಕಿರ್ಸಾಗ ತಾನೇ ಜನ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ, ಆತರ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ತರ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಗವರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಬಾಡಿ. Media don't have a control. For law, you have a bar council ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಗೆ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ IMC ಇದೆ, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಇದೆ, ವೇರ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ ದಿ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಬಾರ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದು ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಿತ್ಕೋತೀರಾ ನೀವು. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಾವ್ ಹೇಳೋದು ನಾವು ಫ್ರೀ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 19 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವ್ ಹೇಳೋದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ರಿಲಯನ್ಸ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೋಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಷನ್. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ನಾವೇ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾನು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸಮಾಜದ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ money is one part, sir, I can understand, because ಅವರು ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, we have respect for that, but not at the cost of somebody else family. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದಿದೆ. ನಮ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅದೇ ಹೇಳೋದು, ಮೇಡಮ್ ನೀವು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ನಾವು ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಾವ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲಸ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಪ್ಪ ನೀನಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ದ ಫ್ಲೋ. ಯಾರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಜೈ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವರ್ಕ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮನಿ ವಿಚ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್. But there are also many good journalists who have not compromised, who are doing their good. Adu kuda ide, illa ante helakagalla, but majority things have become like this. That is the problem with the society.
Yes madam.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಚಾನೆಲ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನಾವೀಗ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಂದನ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ರೇಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೀಗ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ತರದ್ದು ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದಿನ್ನು ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವಂತಿಕೆನ ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಜನ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಂತದನ್ನ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ನ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಒಂದ್ ದಿವ್ಸನೂ ಹಾಕೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಚೇಂಜು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ. ಯಾರಿಗ್ ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರ ರಾಧಾ ಹಿರೇಗೌಡ್ರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ರಂಗನಾಥ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಕೂಗಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂತದನ್ನೇ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನನ್ನ ಅರಿವಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೆ, ನಮ್ಮೂರ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಟೀಚರ್ ಏನೋ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರೇನೋ ಅಕೇಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಮನೇಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದಾಗ ಅವರೇ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನೋ ಆಕಸ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಈ ತರ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ಪುನಃ ಅದ್ರ ಮಾರ್ನೆಗೆ ಅದೇ ಫಿಗರ್, ಅದೇ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ತಗೊಂಡು ನೀನ್ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ. ಇವ್ರು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ನೆಗೆ ಪೇಪರ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಅದು ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೊರಾಲಿಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೈಜತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದುಡ್ಡುಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇವ್ರು ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಮಾಡೋ ರೀತಿ, ಒಂಥರ ಎದುರಿಸೋ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಇವತ್ತು ಟಿವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಧ ಭಾಗ ನಂಬ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಎಲ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಟಿವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರ್ಸದೆ ಒಂದು ಆಗದೆ ಒಂದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ 100 ಜನ ಸತ್ರೆ ಇವ್ರು ಬರೀ 30 ಜನ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ 300 ಜನ ಸತ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರ್ತಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಇನ್ನು ಜಾಗೃತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು.
ಹೌದು ಮೇಡಮ್, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ನಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ, ನಾವ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದೇ ಆದಂತ ಒಂದು ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಕೆಲವರು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ ಕೆಲವರು ನಾವ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ 3 ಜನ ಸತ್ತಿರೋದು 10 ಜನ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿರೋದು ಉಂಟು. ಈಗ ಕರೋನಾ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ವರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 20 people have died in Mysore ಅಂದ್ರೆ they were showing 100 people. ಓಕೆ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಜರೇಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಮುಚ್ಚು ಕೂಡ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ that is what the